Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Leman Academy of Excellence. I'm the principal, Carey. I'm glad to have you guys joining us today for this brief overview of what classical education looks like at Leman Academy. If you are one of our current scholars, welcome. Looking forward to getting back on campus with all of you guys in next year's grade. If you are joining us for the very first time, we're going to walk through a little bit of our mission statement. We're going to get to meet our VP of Relations, Mr. O'Reilly, who helped start our school, and we'll talk through a little bit about what the curriculum looks like as well. In the chat feature, you're welcome to ask questions. I will take some time at the end of this presentation so that we can answer some of those. If I see some that come through as we are going and I can make mention of that, I will do that. And again, I just want to welcome you to Leman Academy, and thanks for joining us today. It is our mission at Leman Academy to offer a rigorous and classical education based on the traditions of Western culture where all our disciplines are interrelated. That allows our scholars to think independently and critically. We purpose to partner with supportive parents to pursue excellence, to provide a safe and challenging environment, and to instill morals and values in order to produce tomorrow's leaders today. That's our mission. Our teachers know that mission. Our staff knows that mission. I hope our kids feel that mission. And parents, that line about partnering with supportive parents, that is crucial to our success. You are our primary educators for our kids, and we are grateful for your support, for your partnership, and we look forward to enjoying this atmosphere together. Now, we are going to jump right in, and I'm going to ask Mr. O'Reilly to walk through that mission statement and give you a little bit of input as to who we are as a campus.
Leman Academy of Excellence offers a rigorous classical education based on the traditions of Western culture, where all disciplines are interrelated, allowing scholars the ability to think independently and critically. We purpose to partner with supportive parents, pursue excellence, provide a safe and challenging environment, and instill morals and values in order to produce tomorrow's leaders today. Classical education depends on a three-part process of training the mind along with promoting critical thinking. The three stages of learning are known as the grammar stage, logic stage, and rhetoric stage, and this classical pattern is known as the trivium. Our belief in partnering with supportive parents is essential to bringing out the best of what our scholars are capable of becoming. Partnering with the home is one of the core values of Leman Academy, and Dr. Leman would have it no other way at our academies. We also purpose to instill morals and values in order to shape tomorrow's leaders today. This is foundational to a classical education, to be pursuing the end goal, therefore designing an education that takes scholars towards wisdom and virtue. Anytime a lesson or unit of study that is interdisciplinary, where we are approaching it from the perspective of knowledge and wisdom, alongside values, virtues, and character formation, we are having a truly classical approach. Although we have many great components to our accelerated educational program, offering Spanish to kinder through second grade, providing Saxon math a year ahead, offering the study of logic in middle school, as well as providing another set of unique arts, recitations, read-alouds, and recess. It's the study of Latin that starts in third grade that will significantly improve a scholar's reading and vocabulary skills, as well as their study skills, their problem-solving abilities in math, as well as increased learning in their core subjects. As much as schools may have the classical educational model, or may purpose to partner with the home, or look to educate young people incorporating morals and values, Leman Academy of Excellence offers something no other school district has in their program, and that's the proven educational philosophical approach of Dr. Kevin Leman. Dr. Leman believes in pursuing excellence through educating the whole child, having high expectations for learners, providing a daily dose of vitamin E, encouragement, as well as some vitamin N for no. And most importantly, scholars need vitamin A to be held accountable for their actions and behavior so they can become the best version of themselves. Our goal at Leman Academy of Excellence is to grow a generation of critical thinkers, thoughtful citizens, articulate communicators, confident leaders, and finally, to grow a generation of young adults who will make a difference locally and globally.
Well, thank you, Mr. O'Reilly, for sharing that with us. And let's dive right into our presentation here, and we'll get started. Our school is a classical model-based school where scholars get the opportunity to really dive into that critical and independent thinking. Some of my favorite voices from the past help to influence what we do. Socrates is far away the primary leader in this type of thought, Socratic thinking. We name the type of thinking after him, where Socrates said, wisdom begins in wonder. And that wondering is a huge component, a pillar of what we expect from our scholars. You'll notice I said the word scholars a couple times. We call our students scholars for a reason. We don't want to just simply have kids that study for a test, but kids that have a desire to learn and an excitement for school. That scholar atmosphere is what we seek to create in our classrooms. And with the idea that wisdom beginning in wonder means that we're looking in 4th and 5th grade particularly, that our kids are making a transition from the grammar stage of understanding, of memorized thought, into the logic stage of learning where they're asking questions. That begins at this stage. That begins at 4th and 5th grade, where scholars begin to learn how to ask those good questions. One of my favorite poets is Alexander Pope, and he said that a little learning is a dangerous thing. And then he encourages us to drink deep of that learning. Drink deep, or don't even bother tasting what those waters taste like. And that's our heart for our kids at 4th and 5th grade, that they taste and they drink deeply of the things of education. As a classical school, we have to look at Charlotte Mason as one of our founding voices. And she said that an observant child should be put in the way of things worth observing. What a better picture of school can you think of? If we can take an environment, in our mission statement, a challenging environment and a safe environment, if we could take that and put that before our scholars to discover learning, we're going to see an excitement, and we're going to see the beginning of a lifelong learner. Our rigorous classical education is based on the traditions of Western culture, so we are looking at the greats in writing. We are looking from ancient history to modern history. We are looking at taking our disciplines and interrelating them so that scholars get a full picture of what happened, so that they're not just learning in history one thing and then in English something else and in art class another thing, but those disciplines come together to provide a well-rounded approach to education. The key to that is that independent and critical thinking piece. And we want to begin in this 4th and 5th grade band of grades to encourage our scholars to think that way. Now, that said, the importance of Western culture and the foundations of who we are today is not devoid of fun. We have a blast on campus. Hopefully you can see a little bit of that in this picture from Halloween this past year. We love to enjoy what we do. And I want to encourage you that when you come onto campus, we're going to be having fun in school. If you hang around Dr. Leman at all, you will hear him say that school it's got to be fun. And if kids are not laughing, if kids are not having fun, then learning's probably not happening either. And so we really strive to do that, and we invite you to join us in that fun. The structure of our school day for our 4th and 5th graders. The timing, I have ish in parentheses here because 7:50 to 2:50 is about the day. We are looking at some things with the town of Oro Valley to make sure that we can have as many cars on campus that we are likely going to have in a safe environment. So we are looking at those start and stop times, but that is roughly the time period from which your kids will be on campus. Now, I mentioned traffic. We do not have busing. We are a charter school that does not offer busing, and so all of our scholars arrive to campus in cars or on foot. So we do have a growing group of scholars that walk from the local neighborhood, but all of our kids, all of our families, I should say, do provide their own transportation. We do have a growing carpool system set up that we will gladly invite you guys into if that would be something you'd be interested in. We have one teacher for our core content in 4th and 5th grade, so they will be with the same group of kids and with the same teacher for most of the day. Those core contents are English, math, history, and science. In those courses, we also have things that we do like recitation. Recitation is a huge part of the logic stage of learning, I should say from the grammar stage into the logic stage, and it's something we support all the way through the rhetoric, high school type thinking that we would encourage our scholars to do. So our kids memorize poems, and they recite poems in a public speaking environment in front of their whole class as part of their grade. Those are things that our core teachers, our classroom teachers teach. The scholars will have a morning recess in 4th and 5th grade. They will have lunch and then a recess time. That's about a half an hour. We are working on those finalized schedules, and we'll get those out this summer. But it's about a half hour in the middle of the day. And then there's an opportunity for an afternoon recess as well. Again, some of these things may be every day. Some of them may not be every day as in regards to the recess components. It all depends on the flexibility of our campus when things are available to them. But we will work together with the 4th and 5th grade teachers to help develop those schedules. Now that said, within the day, the schedule is really determined by the team of teachers. I'm not going to dictate when the kids need to be taking English class. I really want the teachers to have the autonomy in their classroom to do what they need to do. And what that means is sometimes our one classroom of 4th graders will not be studying the same exact thing at the same exact time as another 4th grade classroom. That flexibility we need to give to our teachers because each group of scholars is unique. Just as each single individual scholar is unique, that family in that classroom is a unique situation. And we want to be able to support that teacher in making decisions for that group of kids. If that means they have to go a little bit slower through a section, then we give them the ability to do that. If that means they get to fly through a section of grammar that maybe all of the scholars in that room are prepared for, it doesn't make sense to drag them through something they already know when a quick review would work. So we give the teachers that flexibility. One of the things that we characterize in who we are is in our name for our school. We pursue excellence. We don't pursue perfection. I don't want to blend those things. I don't want to mix those two things up. We pursue excellence. And the way that we view excellence, the way that we define excellence at Leman is that it is a constant pursuit to get better. We can all improve in things, even if we are at the top of our game, even if we have a 4.0 GPA by the end of our 4th year of college. There are things that we can do to get better. And that desire to grow, that desire to get better is what we're after. We call ourselves Royals. That's our team mascot. That's who we are. There's so much in that word that when you join with us at Leman Academy, you join into a royal family where we are making decisions and we are learning to think critically and independently in more than just academics. we focus on virtues and values. We focus on the whole child. We are not just content with A's on a test. Those are great, but those will come. What we want to really invest in our 4th and 5th grade is developing a kid who is excited about school, excited about their friends, excited about meeting new people, excited about getting on stage and showing what they know and how they've learned it. Our desire is to see these kids really just grow, and excellence captures that concept. In these 4th and 5th grade years, they're really a transition into the logic stage of learning, which is really focused on in our middle school, our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. That mindset shift from the grammar to the logic stage is not something that we can say that happens in October of 5th grade year. That's just not the case. Some kids are prepared for logic thinking way earlier than other kids. And we, in the 4th and 5th grade, really get the opportunity to explore a huge range of thinking. Our kids come to us from local districts and come to us from within our own district and come to us from other countries even that are just learning English. This blend of environments not only is enriching, but it can be tough. 4th and 5th grade can be a very tough time of life for our kids. Kids, if you're watching this is not the easiest time of life. And I understand that. And I understand, too, that your teachers have such a desire to see you grow that they're going to hang in there with you. They're going to help you to ask those questions that you need to learn to ask. They're going to help you to learn how to advocate. Because when you're in middle school, that is going to be the biggest thing that you can do, is learn how to advocate. It's a big word, but what it means is that you are going to have the strength to ask questions when you don't understand something. Not only that, you're going to get the opportunity to learn how to ask those questions. That's what 4th and 5th grade is all about. Having fun, learning how to ask good questions, and being excited about learning. I'm so excited that you've decided to join us, and if you have not yet made that decision, we are willing to sit down and talk with you through that, so please feel free to reach out. Part of what you will hear at Leman Academy is that we are focused on habits, building habits of the heart. Some of those habits are these here. They are the habit of responsibility. We want our scholars to build a sense of personal responsibility, not only for their education, but for who they are as a person. We want to see them take ownership of their schoolwork, of their learning. Parents, it is a tough time because your children are starting to learn how to be independent. Some of them, I know, from the crib have wanted to be independent. But in this stage of learning, it is important that they struggle, that they wrestle through the difficult parts of school. And it's important, parents, that you help them to wrestle, not to give them the answers. They're going to be reading some difficult literature. They're going to be studying some difficult time periods of history. And parents, it's okay for them to struggle. It's okay to let them struggle between classes and how to organize their time. In school, our teachers are teaching them how to transition between math and English, to transition between grammar stage thinking and logic stage thinking. At home, it's important to help them understand that as well, that it's okay to struggle through their organization and to find and to try different ways of organizing their time, organizing their learning. But at the bottom of all of it, the foundation that we're looking for is this habit of best effort, a willingness to redo something, or better yet, a willingness to do their best. If scholars are willing to do their best, then we are going to see a transformation in not only our school, but really in our nation. As we send these kids into middle school and then them into high school, into college, and then into the workforce. Our mission statement ends with building or producing tomorrow's leaders today. That's exactly it. We want leaders that are willing to try again, willing to recognize when they make a mistake and try harder, willing to do their best always. And in 4th and 5th grade, our kids will get that opportunity. On campus, we do have a dress code. So scholars, pay attention, parents, listen up. The dress code is super easy to follow. It is spelled out very well on our website. There are pictures and diagrams. There's a long description. This is just a screenshot here of a couple of the images that we would require, but here's the long and short of it. Solid color bottoms, solid color tops. We are looking at wearing polos for the tops throughout most of the school year. On Fridays, we have a free dress day. Of course, t-shirts would need to be school appropriate. Jeans are welcome, shorts are welcome. But for the regular day, solid color khakis, on bottom. They can be pants or skirts or shorts. If they're even cargo pants or cargo shorts, as long as they are not a distraction to the learning environment. Those solid color polos can be gotten from any store. We're not particular. They don't have to come from a specific supply company. Even the jumpers or dresses, those are allowed as well. But the dress code is spelled out very, very simply. And very specifically, if you have questions, please contact our office. We'd love to talk through that with you. Where are our 5th graders going to be? Our 4th graders are going to be stepping upstairs into our old building. And so our 4th grade teachers are preparing to move for this year. So all you 3rd graders that are sitting there right now, you're going to be upstairs in our building. All of our 5th graders will be moving to our new building. And they will be in several of the classrooms on the first level of our new building. There's a slight chance that could shift around a little bit, so I don't want to say it 100%, but for the most part, we are looking at several classrooms. If you can see my cursor here, we are looking at these 5 classrooms ultimately for 5th grade. Again, we are not 100% on that as of today, but we are looking to make that decision. For this next year, we have 3 4th grade classrooms and 3 5th grade classrooms. So we have a little bit of a flexibility with our building on where we place scholars and where we place teachers. But we want to set our teachers up for success. So we're really taking our time to make sure that this next move is as permanent of a move as we can make it. We don't want to have teachers have to change their classroom every year. So that's why we're taking the time to make sure that those classrooms are set. In this new building, which is done, it looks beautiful. If you've been by our campus, take some pictures of the outside. We're not allowed to be inside those classrooms at this point. We're waiting for our C of O, which should be coming through hopefully before the end of the school year. But we will announce that when we have that C of O. But in this room, we've got 18 classrooms. We have a chemistry and a bio lab, a brand new art room, a brand new music room. We've got another cafeteria where our middle school scholars will be eating, our 5th grade scholars will be eating there. 4th grade, we're still determining, based on some new restrictions that may be coming out from the CDC, about how we're going to do lunch. So we're holding off on announcing exactly where everybody will be eating or what those lunch times are, but we will be publishing that this summer. But I'm excited to get into this new building and really be able to breathe. This past year has been very tight. We've had people sharing offices. Our teachers have experienced being crammed in to their classrooms for inside lunches and inside recesses, and I know the trial that has been, and I thank every single one of my teachers for doing a great job this year. I know there are lots of questions about the playground that is to be outside on the north end of our property. Those plans are being finalized right now. We are waiting for a couple things to finish up before we can begin putting those structures up. But those plans, like I said, for those particular features are being planned right now. Wanted to finish up today by talking a little bit through the curriculum, particularly if you're new, but also to announce a little bit of change in science that I'm sure you've heard of at this point, but we'll walk through that. Let's start in English and history. Those two subjects really do drive a lot of our curriculum with our classical model. That history timeline is our backbone. That's really what we focus on to draw everything in to make those connections rich for our kids. In fourth grade, we're going to be looking at the modern world and modern American history and literature. In fifth grade, we actually go back to the beginning of time and we start the secondary track of our historical timeline. So in fifth grade, we go back to the ancient world and we begin to study ancient history and dive into the foundations of government and the foundations of thought. And we look at some ancient literature at the fifth grade level. In science, here's where our change comes in. Our fourth graders will be studying physics. That is no different. Right now, it looks like the AIMS science test is still going to be in fourth grade. I'm waiting for some updates on that as far as any shifts in curriculum that we'll be making. But fifth grade will be changing to an Earth and space study for this next year. It used to be biology. We made that shift this year to better prepare our scholars for those AIMS tests in fourth and eighth grade. So in fifth grade, they will be studying Earth and space science. And for this year, our sixth graders are also studying Earth and space science. So we will really have a team to build this curriculum and make it rich for our fifth graders and for our sixth graders. So I'm very excited for that. Next year, our sixth grade scholars who have walked through our system will have already had Earth and space, so they will be moving into biology next year. So this year on campus, there won't be any biology taught because we're making those adjustments. In math, our fourth graders will be studying Saxon Intermediate 5. So that is a fifth grade based curriculum. So we are a year ahead in our math curriculum. And then fifth grade is starting to look at the very beginnings of pre-algebra. And they are taking course 1 in Saxon. Our teachers have been teaching Saxon for a long time and are doing a fabulous job at that. Now, because we're a public charter school, we do have to play by the state rules, and so we do have state testing. Our teachers are aware of the discrepancies between the fourth grade standards and the Saxon Intermediate 5 text, and they do their best to really provide a rich environment for the kids to not only be prepared for those tests, but then to stand on top of those standards and fly through a higher and more advanced level of math. For scholars that need a little bit of extra help in math, we do have the opportunity to provide enrichment for that. In language, both our fourth and our fifth grade scholars will be studying Latin. It'll be their second year in Latin, and no worries if you're coming to us brand new. Our teachers work on differentiating that curriculum and can bring scholars up into a typical Latin class, even if they haven't had any exposure to that before. So if you're nervous about that, that is okay. Our teachers will do a great job making sure that you are ready for the beginning of that. Art, music, and PE are our 3 specials. They are a key component to what we do at Leman and will always be a part of our curriculum. Scholars in kindergarten through 8th grade all get the opportunity to study art, music, and PE. And specifically in art and music, our teachers focus on the time period that the scholars are learning. So in history class, when they're learning the ancient world, they're also studying in art class the ancient world. And they're studying ancient paintings and ancient sculptures. And so the kids really get an opportunity to experience a well-rounded approach to that education. They're roughly 40-minute classes, and they'll be once every 3 days. So art class will happen on Monday, and then will happen again on Thursday. PE will happen on Tuesday, then on Friday, and then Wednesday and next Monday would be the next class. That cycle will just continue so that every 3 days that cycle will repeat. So the scholars will have a special every day, and they will have language instruction on a rotating basis as well. Parents, I mentioned before how important it is to partner with you, and I want to invite you onto campus. This is something that I think sets us apart from a lot of schools. Our parent volunteers help run our school. We have parent volunteers on campus every single day, from drop off in the morning to pick up in the afternoon, and everywhere in between, using our copiers, helping to escort scholars to lunch, helping out in the lunchroom. We have a fabulous group of volunteers, and we invite you to be a part of that. Even if it's once, even if there is one day that you can give an hour or two to help out on campus, we'd love to invite you to come in. All of our parent volunteers come in and check in the front office. They get an ID badge where they are then welcome to come into campus and then shown to the area where they need to be working that day. Teachers invite their parents from their classes to come in regularly. Please, if you are able to, we'd love to partner with you on our campus. However, we also recognize that not all families are in the same position. And there are some families that it would be an extraordinarily high struggle to get a parent on campus. So I don't want you to feel that pressure. We know that partnering with us doesn't only look like being on campus. There are plenty of opportunities to participate. We have our PTO, which is a great opportunity to participate. Those meetings we balance between the mornings and the afternoons, and so we rotate that throughout the months so that we can provide as many opportunities for you to join us as possible. There are activities, there are field trips, there are lots of things that we need parental help with our scholars. It could also be just helping with homework and helping to get our kids to school on time. That is a huge level of partnership, and we are grateful for every single one of our families. The most important part of our mission statement, in my opinion, is the line that talks about instilling morals and values. If we miss this, we miss a huge part of who we are as a school. Across our district, every grade level, we focus on morals and values that are agreed upon at our district principals meetings. And so at the same time of year, across all of our campuses, all 4,000 of our kids, we'll be focusing on loyalty, or we'll be focusing on scholarship, or we'll be focusing on truth. At the same time, it gives us an opportunity to talk as a campus, regardless of the age of the scholar, regardless of the years of experience of the teacher. We'll be talking through the same virtues and values. When I sat down and had lunch with Dr. Leman very early on when I came on board, I asked him what he wanted from our 8th graders moving forward. When we send off our 8th graders to the local high schools, what are we looking for? And he said the one thing that he really values above everything else is that he wants our scholars to recognize that they're not the only ones on the planet, that there are other kids around them, that other people's opinions matter. He wants them to recognize that academics are important, but not the only thing that's important. That life is all around us, and we need to be aware. And we need to be selfless, and we need to be giving. That's Dr. Leman's heart for our school. And in the 4th and 5th grade, what an awesome opportunity for our kids to learn that as they are learning how to socialize, as they are changing into these logical thinkers and scholars. We are building tomorrow's leaders today. And it starts in kindergarten. It starts in pre-K. It starts at the crib with you, parents. You are our kids' primary teachers. And building that partnership with you is essential to seeing the success of our school. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I'm going to look through and see if we have any questions on the chat feature, but you are welcome to send me email questions. I will gladly answer them and get back to you. So we're gonna pause this section a little bit. I'm going to keep that screen up so you can see my email address. I'm going to look up here and just see if I can read through any questions. If you have questions, please feel free to start typing them in, and I'll hang out here for a little while and see if we can answer some questions for you. So I got a question here. Are there going to be changes to the school schedule in the fall due to COVID-19? Let's say yes. I don't know what they're going to be. We are waiting on feedback from the state, from the country, from the state, from the world even, to see what would be best practice for keeping our kids safe. At the district office, we are having conversations weekly right now about what this is going to look like. So we are not just simply waiting. We are making plan A, plan B, plan D, plan Q. We recognize that that we don't have all the answers, but we are going to do our best to really keep our kids safe. So we're talking about hand washing stations, we're talking about usage of the playgrounds, and we're talking about how the kids have to sit in the cafeteria, how the kids have to sit in their classrooms. We're talking through all of those things. As far as the schedule goes, I know some school districts are talking about having a hybrid schedule or having certain kids on campus on certain days. We are talking through all of that. We do not have set plans in place. These next 2 weeks are really important to see where we go as a state, and we will be announcing things as soon and as quickly as possible. So thank you for that question. Great question about class sizes here. What are the class sizes for 4th grade? Well, in kindergarten through 8th grade, our class size cap is 27. We really want to keep that number under 30 to give the focus to the kids that they need. In most classes, there's one teacher. In some parts of the day, we will have additional staff members in that classroom helping out. So it could be 2 teachers working with those scholars, but 27 is our cap. And if it ever has to go above that, I hesitate even saying that, but if it ever had to go above that, there would be a situation where it would be a family member type of an environment, but it would be through conversation with the teachers, with the families. It's not something that we would ever do lightly, but 27 is our cap for that. So there's a question, do I understand this correctly? Instead of the 6-day specials rotation from this year, there'll be a 3-day rotation next year. In short, it's the same thing. There would be no difference. So we announced A day, B day, C day this year. I'm working with our staff to determine the best way to go forward with that. We are doubling the size of our specials teachers. So that means kids are going to have a better opportunity to enjoy specials classes on a more regular basis. So instead of a limited time, we are looking to really increase that number. The 3-day versus 6-day schedule and that rotation, it's a tricky one to identify. We are looking at those schedules. Some of it does depend on how we have to adjust for lunches for the COVID-19, the CDC requirements. That may adjust the amount of time that kids can have in a class. But what I want you guys to know right now is this is our plan right now. So the 3-day versus 6-day scheduling is something that we're looking at. if we can increase the amount of time that kids have in specials, we are absolutely going to do that. But it won't be a situation where they will have a special on A, C, and E. So it won't be just every other day that they would have a special. They will have a special every single day. So it's going to increase the amount of time that they have in that class. So it'll look a little bit different than it did this year. And I'm excited about that. I met with some of our new teachers today, and I'm really excited to have them joining us. And they're excited too. Do sports teams start in fifth? What's the commitment? Great question. For fifth graders to participate in our sports teams, there is a tryout for the team. It is a middle school league that we are a part of, so that is typically 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We have brought up some fifth graders. It is not common. It is got to be a fifth grader who has a lot of experience in that sport, because it is a competitive team. There are tryouts and there are cuts. So if you've got a fifth grader that plays volleyball, a fifth grade girl who plays volleyball, when it's time for tryouts, absolutely come out and try out. We would invite that, but chances are good that it's just going to be 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. However, this past year we did have several fifth graders playing on our sports teams, and they did a fabulous job. So I don't ever want to rule that out. But fifth grade would be the earliest that kids could participate in an after-school sport. Now, we do have clubs, and that's open kindergarten through 8th grade. Our clubs, we've got a Taekwondo club, we've got Lego clubs, we have a running club that exploded this year, which I'm really excited about. I would love to see a cross-country team come to fruition this year. So keep your eyes out for that. But our clubs, we are looking to get those schedules out over the summer so that you guys can decide if you want to participate in those clubs. We do have an after-bell program as well. That after-bell program is available to all of our scholars. It is a prorated per minute fee for the families, but it is open kindergarten through 8th grade till I want to say it's 6 o'clock, but I'll double check on that and make sure that is clearly identified on our website for you. Let me jump in here and look and see if I have any more questions. Field trips planned for 5th grade. Tubach was awesome last year. Yeah, 4th grade trip to Tubach. 4th grade does an amazing job with their field trips. And so coming into 5th grade, what field trips are we going to be doing? We're going to be talking about that. One of my desires this year is to establish a look forward to field trip for each of the grades, that we can pass that down year after year, that when you get to 5th grade and you get to go on this field trip, it's going to blow your mind. That's what I want. I want to see that happen for all of our grades. So that is one of the things that we're going to be discussing this summer and next in the fall, so that we can establish that for each of our grade levels. Right. Okay, that looks like it's all of the questions that I have in YouTube on the chat feature there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving up some time on this nice hot afternoon. I hope you're enjoying some cool refreshment and cool air conditioning in your homes. This season has been so strange, being at school but not being at school all at the same time. Kids, if you are part of Leman already, thank you for your hard work. I look forward to seeing you next year. Parents, you've been doing a great job keeping your kids on task, and I couldn't be more proud of you. If you are joining us for this next school year, welcome to the family. I am excited to meet you. I'm excited to have you. Your teachers are dying to meet you. They have missed their kids this past quarter, and I can't wait to get this thing kick-started for next year. So thanks for joining us. I'm Mr. Carey, I'm the principal, and together we're producing Tomorrow's Leaders Today. I hope you guys have a great day and a great weekend, great rest of the school year, and an awesome summer. Encourage one another and build each other up.